So right now actually it's like a very late in the midnight. I mean, in comparison, it's late. Yeah, right now it's around like a 12. I mean 12 something, almost 1. Yeah, so welcome to my channel, and this time I want to talk about ESTP. Yeah, so basically like ESTP itself, yeah, I'll just go through very quick onto some main basic point onto it, then I'll just go to it. Hopefully people are much more happy or for me to talking about the MBTI thingy. I didn't check about like the view up until right now. Yeah, maybe after I will just check it, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I just talk it because I think it's needed. I don't talk because I think there's people going to listen. Somehow people need to listen somehow in a sense. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about ESTP. So a lot of time people are kind of like struggling between like a ESFP and ESTP. So a lot of people don't know the differences between them because both of them sounds like a ESP. It sounds much more like a yeah, we are just coming together, and it's much more like yeah, they are boom like both like a boom shaka like a boo boo and like a shaking something. Yeah, I mean in the MBTI, but one of it is like an entrepreneur, and a lot of people are like, what? But I will just tell you. But actually, I don't really like the 16 personalities thingy. Yeah, somehow I just remember this to to talk about it. The 16 personality is not MBTI. So if you just think that you got a 16 personality test and you think that that is accurate, no, it's not even close to it. There's the Big Five system and it's not MBTI system. If you don't know what does it mean, it's just like I just say that I'm a science student and another person also is called as the art students, or we make it much more simple. Physics student and physical therapy is different thingy. Yeah, both sound similar, but actually it's different. So let's go back to the ESTP. So basically ESTP first hero function is actually SE. Then instead of going to FI, they go to TI. So that's why we call it the ESTP in terms of like the way of like we naming the MBTI. So after that, so instead of TE, they go to FE, and then the fear is the same is NI. Then after that, we have the SI as the nemesis. Then we go to the TE as their critic. After TE, we have the FI as the ignorant. And the last one, we have the NE as the demon or angel. Yeah, so basically for ESTP, this is the sequence of their functions. Then we go with the four sides of mind. So the first type is the ego. For the ego, we have the ESTP. Then secondly, what we have right here is the INFJ. Yeah, just need to take a little bit notes onto it. It's an INFJ instead of like for the ESFP and ESFJ, like our how should I say our subconscious state is going to the NT, but for the ESTP, starting from an ESTP, okay, and some other certain MBTI, their subconscious state, they go to NF. And later I will explain a little bit differences between these two, but not too much. Yeah. So let's go to the unconscious state of the ESTP. It's gonna be the ISTJ. Then we go to the last one, which is the ENFP. So basically these four sides of mine, and we'll just try to go through like their personality first. So when we try to understand about the ESTP, and basically because of the ESTP itself, so they are same as the ESFP, they are the artisans. So artisans, what it means, they are concrete, they are pragmatic, sorry, and then they are interest-based. So which means they go with something that they can see on the reality, and they go with much more like a practical plans onto it. Why practical? Easy, because they see the sense. Yeah, as you can see, the SE is like right here as the hero function. So they always need to think about like what is working, what is making result right now. Yeah, and interest based. So even though you don't see like you see the FI is somehow like coming as the ignorant, but where they trigger their interest, so-called interest, is the NI fear. Because of the NI fear, we always, like the people with the ESP, we are always requiring freedom. And freedom for me to prove onto something right, something wrong. Yeah, that's the NI fear that gives to us. So if you're asking us like the NI fear itself, like can we produce into something like, oh, that is something that in the future that will be always working? We can't really say yes, but because we always fear of losing freedom itself, and we'll try to make all the choices and just according to it, and just try to make sure whatever we are doing right now, we still have the freedom to be hold on. Yeah, that's the most basic thing onto it. Yeah, so going with the interest base. And then next thing, yeah, talking about their communication type. Their communication type is different from ESFJ and ESFP, which is the starter. And this time we are going with the structure. Surprise, guys. Yeah, it's a whole new series, and let's go with it. They are much more direct. They are direct talking. And the next thing is the initiating, and then control. Yeah. So while we're talking about the communication type, it doesn't mean that they always stick onto this kind of like a communication, but that is how their ego trying to talk. So it's much more like if you are able to let them to talk with this kind of state itself, somehow it means that you have the ability to make them go back to their ego and making them much more free, and they will be much more happy onto it. Yeah. So when they talking direct itself instead of informative, what does it mean direct? It means like I will try to make it as short as simple, and at the same time, it can make it into something like a short answer instead of making it long. So while you're looking at me as a ESFP, as a starter, it's informative, which means I keep on trying to explain like, if this situation there's this, if there's this kind of condition, they might be go to there. But for the structure type of people, they will assume that whatever you're talking right now is already have a structure inside here. So we'll try to go inside the box. And while we're talking about this, I will just go there, and the answer should be short. Yeah, which is much more easy to make it progressive. And initiating is same as the starter, which means we try to start up something. And control, what does it mean? Control, it means that still trying to make it within something that is much more, we say, structurized, or we say much more systemized, that already a lot of people created and also follow. So making it into this way, ESTP. So that's why, somehow some people just say that entrepreneurs. Yeah, but actually they have a lot of things they can do. ESTP, they can become a very good like a businessman sometimes. But that's the basic thing that we can talk about as a structure type of people. And that's basically all the things that we can talk about it in a simple sense. Yeah, so this is the ESTPs. And right now we go down with the energy and we try to understand what's going on, everything with them. And so then we can try to understand how and why they were talking this and that way. Yeah, we try to understand it. First thing, they have the SE. SE as the hero. So every time they are sensing and they are trying to interact with the external environment, which means they are much more learn to how to perform, or like learn, or we say they see what they know, like they only know what they see, they only react onto what they can feel, touch, hear, and everything. Yeah, so they're sensitive, their sensors are much more a little bit sensitive in a sense, and their reaction as well. So and this just usually making like the SP type of people much more, how can I say, SP type of people to be much more a little bit sporty. Yeah, because of the sporty issue also onto it, and because there's like a reaction onto it. Usually they like to play some kind of sports that just need you to react, like let's say basketball, and that you will just need to collide onto each other that directly. Yeah, usually. Yeah, but there will be also have some like a special case. I mean, with the body conditions and some backgrounds and everything. Yeah, everything might be happening just because of the background. Yeah. So next, we go to the parents function. The parents function is the TI. So with the hero is I always like feeling there's something around it. In the TI, what it means, like different from FI. FI is that whatever I feel good, whatever the priority that comes inside me. But TI itself, it forms, and somehow I'm a TI ignorer, and they are different. They are FI ignorer. So the TI parents itself is much more like trying to prove everything is like a true and false. Yeah, if this is true, then it can work. And if this is false, then it don't really work. But TI I already explained last time. So TI, their logic itself is not structural. It is much more coming from a much more like a whole line of explanations, and the logic itself is much more everything come together. It is like inside a line. If you just only take a part of the lines out, the part of the rows out, ropes out, and you just try to explaining this as everything, then there's something wrong with you. Yeah, but that thinking is TI. And somehow, like, if you're asking an ESTP, do you just believe everything just by small pieces of evidence? They will say no. They will just very rely onto the TE critical. Yeah, there's the sixth function, and there's the critical onto it. And what does it mean like to be a critical right here? So it somehow means if you are trying to communicate with a ESTP, and somehow like they are trying to understand you, right? But then while you're trying to letting them to understand you, and somehow you need to let them see the whole picture and the structure of it. Even though somehow for them to just learn onto it is a little bit difficult. But if they don't know the whole structure onto it, they don't know where's your logic is going to be. And so then if they don't know where's your logic gonna to be, they will just feel that it's somehow pointless to study anything, since their TI is not TE as their first priority judgment function. Yeah, so after we go into the parents function, we go into the child function. What was the child function? Is the FE. So FE type of people is much more like, right here is the FE child. So remember, so FE child somehow is supposed to be matured with the TI as well as the FI, but the FI right here is like the ignorant. And because of the ignorant itself, somehow the FE child itself, FE child, somehow it only cares about other people feeling. So sometimes for some certain type of the personality, well, you found them like a really strong way of resonating with other people's art. But after a while, then they will just say that, yeah, actually it's not my feeling. It's like from others people feeling, then I just react onto it. And I can't really control into it. And why? Because of the FE dominant. And because of the FE dominant, and somehow they have much more weaker like FI, and you can't really blame them because it's their personality. But then you need to understand that, yeah, because of this personality, those kind of people actually is a little bit suffering with it, because they want to know their own feeling, but they don't really mature with this kind of thing. Yeah, so that's how the FE child it appears. So somehow, like for the ESTP, just in a short term to talk about their judgment, instead of like they're afraid of like making themselves disappointed, they are much more afraid of making other people disappointed. So usually, like around like a ESTP, they really need someone they can give them the courage, can give the loyal, and as well as like giving them the encouragement. Yeah, as well as like some happiness, like because you can see like the NI type right here, and everybody is strive for the happiness, so that's why I say the NI type right here. Yeah, that's what they need. Somehow. Okay, let's go to the fear NI. So just I already mentioned, because of the NI fear, it's something that you don't really own, but somehow you really need it. So for the NI, basically in an easy term, I don't really have the internal intuition that I don't really know that what I want to choose for very, very long term, very, very far away, like a future. But I always want to have a chance for me to choose something for myself. especially when there is come to the future. Yeah, so for the ESTP, it's the same kind of logic. We want to choose our future, and we want to have that futures to be allowed for tendency. The tendency itself, like, yeah, when we're talking about it, it sounds like a playboy thingy, but wait a minute, I'll just explain onto it. We want to stick onto some certain people that always can give us choice, instead of just like always giving us an order. If you're just always giving us an order, we don't think that you are appreciating us because you don't even appreciate our thinking. That's the biggest problem to it. So that's why for the ESP or like the SP type of people, always you're giving them a choice to choose, and they would, after they choose, and they would just letting you know somehow, if you are close enough with them, they will letting you know, and because of knowing about it, they will try to make you just try to relax onto it. And let's go with the explaining a little bit about their subconscious, because they are INFJ. So INFJ subconscious, basically it means that they have a little bit idealistic characteristics. So when we try to understand the idealistic characteristics, what does it mean? I have something that I think it will work, and it will work perfectly, and I won't feel danger. If ESTP is like keep on stucking with the INFJ like a subconscious, and they didn't face enough like a counter, basically they will have a very big problem in their social life. Why? Because like basically nobody will gonna just listen to them, and they will just always like talking about something that lulu. So basically always remember, no matter what kind of like an MBTI thingy, somehow everybody needs to go through some difficulties for us to grow up. And because we are going up more, and that's the most important thing that we need to remember. So INFJ, making them a little bit, trying to be Jesus, or like we say, emotionally capable to everyone. So let's go to the unconscious type, which is the ISTJ. The first function, SI. So we already know it's like a self-discipline, or we say it's like a comfort zone area. So the comfort zone thingy, that's why they are always working onto it. Especially if they are really like feel being burdened from other people, because they're already proving everything that is right, that is wrong, and other people deny it, and they try to be as happy as possible, but people don't really like it and taking away their freedom. Then they will just come to their ISTJ. They're trying to make themselves comfort, or like trying to lay back and trying to thinking about everything and try to learn a little bit more things, that they will just try to be much more smarter, like in this kind of sense, because they need all the evidence to show them onto it. They are the ESTP with the evidence and every data. If they don't have the evidence and data, they will just feel like insecure. So in this kind of sense, and the ISTJ mode. So if you try to piss them off, basically you just try to, when they study and you still try to deny them whatever the effort they do, then they will just go to the ENFP mode. And basically what is the ENFP mode already talk about the demon NE in the ESFP. So basically the demon NE itself, it means that I want to make you suffer. It doesn't mean that I just do it onto you. Maybe I can just do it indirectly onto you. Making all the people around you suffer. But in this way, with the morality. But the morality, the FI right here, it don't turns into morality anymore, because it's a FI ignorant. So somehow it turns into something else. And what is that something else? It will become how should I say? It become a self-value protector. Because of the protecting my self-value onto it, I would just demand onto any other people that want to just make me suffer. And because of this, because of they know how to make themselves much more valuable, and making everybody around know about their own value, and it would just suddenly making like other people just trying to leave the person who wants to just keep on accusing onto them, and suddenly just helping them and to be much more higher place. But somehow usually it is like a short period of time. So usually you don't really come to like a really narcissistic, like an ENFP type. Usually you don't go to that like for ESTP, because usually when we come to ISTJ type, just like a ESFP. So when we come to the shadow side, usually when we come to the unconscious side, the society already start to accepting it, because you become the most common people in the world. Yeah, so basically, because of it, we don't really often come to the burning, like a demon type. But still, you need to be careful. It doesn't mean that you come to the shadow side and you will be mature. A lot of people, they come to the shadow side, they don't reflect onto themselves. They just trying to protect themselves, and it will become a crisis of your self-value. Anyway, you're just gonna face it very badly. So for you to not get into the state itself, you need a bunch of people, you need a bunch of friends that you can connect from time to time. That's like, for no matter what kind of MBTI you are, everybody need this. Yeah. So basically, that's the most easy thing that I can talk about the ESTP for this season. Yeah, and I have a lot of like ESTP good friends about it. Yeah, good luck for you all. Yeah, hope you all just enjoy it. Yeah. For the compatible relationship, I think I'll just do it after the 16 MBTI, after I explain about it. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, see you then. Bye bye.